Today we're going to make bread and butter pickles that are shelf stable. If you are my uncle, I am wearing shoes in the kitchen today. It's very important when canning that you know your sources and only use from sources that use safe, tested recipes. The first thing you're going to do is take 1/8 of an inch or more from the blossom end of the cucumber and then slice them to be 1/4 of an inch wide. A mandolin will really come in handy here, but please be careful of your fingers. You're going to repeat this with 4 pounds of cucumbers. Next, you're going to thinly slice 2 pounds of onions after you peel them. The ball book calls for Vidalia onions, but it is safe to swap out different types of onions according to the National Center for Home Food Preservation. You just can't use shallots instead. They do have to be onions. Next, you are going to layer the cucumbers and onions and salt. You're going to use 1/3 cup of salt for pickling and preserving. It can't just be any type of salt. The last part of this step is to cover the top in ice and let it sit in the fridge for at least 1.5 hours. After it is sat in the fridge, you're going to drain the cucumbers and onions and rinse it with cool water. At this point, you're going to take the jars that you washed and sterilized, put them in your canner, and fill them with water until they start to warm up. Now in a separate pot, you're going to bring to a boil 2 cups of sugar, 2 tablespoons of mustard seed, 2 teaspoons of turmeric, 2 teaspoons of celery seed, 1 teaspoon of ginger, 1 teaspoon of peppercorn, and 3 cups of vinegar. You need to make sure the vinegar is 5% acidity. You can't use any homemade vinegar when canning. Now you're going to add your cucumbers and onions into the brine and bring it back to a boil. While you're waiting for it to boil, mix periodically so that the cucumbers and onions heat up evenly. Once your pickles have come to the boil, it's time to take the jars out of the warm water on the canner. You want to put the water back in the pot. If you think that there's too much water, you can put some aside in a different container. Put them out next to your cucumbers. If your countertop can't handle the heat, then you can always put them on a towel as well. Now you're going to fill the jars with the cucumbers, leaving at least 1/2 inch of headspace. And I'm going to show you a little trick later in the video to see headspace. Now you're going to fill the jars with the liquid in the brine. You're also going to leave 1/2 inch of headspace there as well. You also want to take a non-metal object like a spatula, or I'm using plastic chopsticks, to debubble the edges. After you debubble, add more liquid until you get back to the 1/2 inch of headspace. A quick way to tell headspace is that first line is 1 inch, that second one is 1/2 inch, and that last one is 1/4 inch. After you filled your jars, you're going to wipe the edge, put the lids on, and fingertip tighten them. Now it's time to can them. You're going to lower all 7 jars into your canner. I'm using a pressure canner that can also water bath can. It's very important that you read your instructions on any canner you use to know how many jars fit and how to use it properly and safely. Once all the jars are in, you're going to use any hot water you set aside to fill the canner to at least 1 inch of water over the jars that are in the canner. Now you're going to bring to a boil with the lid on. The instructions for my canner are to take out the dial and the pressure popper. Once it's boiling, set a timer for 10 minutes and process the jars in boiling water for 10 minutes. Once the 10 minutes are up, you're going to turn off the heat, take the lid off, and set a timer for another 5 minutes. Now you're going to use your jar lifter again and take each of the jars out and leave them on a towel on the counter. Don't retighten the lids if they are loose at this point. After they've been sitting for 12 hours, you can take the rings off, lift them by the lid to make sure it's not a false seal, and then you're ready to go. If some don't seal, that's okay. You can either reprocess them, but I find it leads to mushy pickles, so you could just leave them in the fridge as refrigerator pickles. Now clean the jars, label them, and store them without the rings on them. You can enjoy them for up to a year.